week of class, I was talking about local board, NAR, and CAR. Do you guys remember that? How many of you remember what CAR stands for?
Citrus Valley Association of Realtors.
No. CAR. Yes, sir.
California Association of Realtors.
Okay. And Brittany, what's the NAR?
National Association of Realtors.
Good job. Nice save. All right. We have a gentleman back there who's going to talk about the legislative part. Remember, I talked to you about how important work they do on the political side related to housing. Danielle, that might interest you since you're a political science major, right? Okay. So I'll let them take it away.
Hi. My name is Barbara Goldberg, and I'm the Director of Member Services for Citrus Valley Association. So I do a lot of things there. I do all member-related issues, I manage that, and then professional standards and the grievance process, which is the way agents file a complaint from one to another or members of the public. It's in lieu of litigation, basically. So we handle all of that. Plus, we help people with finding a pathway for themselves. But the broker always determines the direction, or has a business model, if you will, that dictates how things are going to go, because they're ultimately responsible for your behavior. So once you become a licensee through the Bureau of Real Estate, you probably already know this, but you have to hang your license under a broker, or it will show as an NBA status, and that doesn't mean that you're going to be a basketball player. It means that you're going to be non-broker affiliated. That's what that means. So until that status changes, you cannot be a member of the association, or you cannot be a participant in the MLS. You must hang your license under a broker of record, and they are ultimately responsible for your behavior. And then you'll determine in which way you'll be a participant or subscriber or member of an association. If you're just a participant or subscriber, a participant means you're a broker of record who has MLS access only. A subscriber means that you're a subscriber under a broker of record who has MLS access. But if we call you a member, that means you've taken the Realtor designation. It's Realtor, there's no vowel in the middle, okay? So it's Realtor. And your broker, if they become a Realtor and a full board member, you must join as your broker joins, okay? That's how the deal runs. To be an MLS only participant or subscriber, it's about $400 a year. But if you decide to become a member, if your broker is a member and an MLS participant, it's going to run about $1,000 a year to have a super key access to homes if they have super key, to have membership, and to have MLS access. That's what it runs pretty much a year, okay? So what we have here for you today, I'm just going to go over our website a little bit. We'll give you a little insight into our MLS and talk to you about some of the member benefits that we provide exclusively at Citrus Valley. So when you become a Realtor member, you take a tri-party designation. It means that you've joined a local association like Citrus Valley, okay? And there are 108 local associations in the state of California alone. And it means you're a member of the California Association of Realtors, which is the state realtor organization. And it means that you are a member of the National Association of Realtors. And that benefit at the national level carries with you no matter what state you belong. So once you're given a number, if it's in Texas or Michigan or Florida, that number stays with you no matter what state you go to. Okay? So once you're with the National Association of Realtors, if you leave for a while and come back, that number is yours forever. It's connected to you. Okay? So to become a Realtor member, you have to belong to the local, state, and national, and your broker has to be a full board Realtor member first before you can become one. Okay? So there's ethics involved, because a regular licensee with the Bureau of Real Estate does have to take ethics upon renewal of their license, but not on your provisional license, okay? So upon renewal, you'll take ethics, but as a full board Realtor member, you must adhere to the code of ethics that is delivered by the National Association of Realtors. There are 17 articles in that code of ethics. And you can be held accountable under the complaint process for professional standards if you violate one of those articles. And your responsibility is always to your client. Always to your client. That is your fiduciary responsibility. Okay? So if your client directs you to do something, you also have to look at, is this a violation of our MLS rules in which I'm putting this listing in? So if your client directs you to do something, you can't just do it because they tell you to do it. You have to make sure it's within the parameters of what is allowable, okay? And you have to follow bylaws. You have to follow MLS rules. You have to follow a code of ethics. You have to follow a business and professions code and a civil code and all of these different things, right? So there's a lot to learn when people tell you how, oh, be a real estate agent, it's easy. No, it's not. It's not easy, not if you do it right. It's not easy because there's a lot to know. But on our website, we deliver to you all of that information that you can research and be a part of. But we also deliver some exclusive member benefits as well. In the middle, I want to show you a little bit about, we were talking about Twitter and Facebook. It is located right on this page here. So this is what it's going to look like. That's what our Facebook page looks like. You can click on the website and log in with your Facebook account and be taken right to our account. But you can follow us. We have several different accounts. This is our main account, but I have one, Barb at CVAR, and I know Joey has one, and Tracy has one because she's what's called CVAR Assist. Tracy is mobile. She's truly mobile because she's got a scooter, right? She's really mobile. But Tracy does all mobile services, so she can come out to your office and she can deliver anything that we do internally, okay? Whether it's a store product, if it's joining, if it's Supra assistance, zip forms. Do you all know what zip forms is? I'm sure that your instructors talk to you about zip forms, right? Those are the forms that are put out by the California Association of Realtors to execute a contract, okay? Whether it's a listing agreement, an RLA, if it's an RPA, a residential purchase agreement, whatever it is. And we even have some commercial forms in there. Not a lot. That's a whole separate program called AIR, okay? It's a little bit different, but we have all these different libraries available to you. And we even have some of our own internal forms for member services on zip forms that we can send out to you as a potential new member. So it's a very comprehensive library, but it is available as part of your membership to the California Association of Realtors, okay? We have a couple other products that are available to you. It's called RPR, and I'm going to show you on our dashboard. Here's the main. This is where you would log in if you were going to go into the MLS. Okay, I've already logged in, and this is what you would see once you logged in. And if you wanted to get into the MLS, you just click on that tile right there, and you're already authenticated into it. But you have all those other tiles you can access just based on a single sign-in. That's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. So here's what the MLS looks like, and from here you have the capability to search all of these different types, whether it's residential income, mobile, land and lots, all of these different, and there's even a cross-property search there for you that you can do. Then we also have a way for you to save information. For instance, if you were inputting a listing and you wanted to save it, you have the ability, and now the system used to make you save it, but it automatically saves anything that you're working on. It's a brand new rollout. Okay, that's a great feature, isn't it? So you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, maybe your computer logs you out for some reason, and you go back in and you think you've lost your data, but you won't now. It's an automatic save, so that's a great feature. Then here we have the Add Edit module. I'm going to go in here just so you can see how easy it is to input listings, and what's great about this is based on an APN number that you provide, it'll automatically import the APN information into the listing, so you don't have to type all that stuff in. Wow. It's really great. It's simple, very simple. You have a finance section, you have calculators, you can also do estimated seller's proceeds or buyer's closing costs. These are all part of the system. You can do comparative market analysis here. They have 2 different versions. So the system is comprehensive. There's a lot of it. It has additional, if you need help, you can go in here and search under a topic. They all expand. So just so that you know, you've got a lot available to you. And here's realist tax data. In here, if you want to do a comparative market analysis based on tax data, it has that feature in it. So you don't have to use MLS data, you can actually use tax data. And in here, you can narrow it down by an address or an APN number. You can do a search for a section or a specific area. So all of these tools are incorporated as part of that $95 you pay us a quarter. It's all part of it, which is really a fairly inexpensive piece for all that you get in the technology. And they're continually enhancing it. And I will tell you this, that we have an actual committee that takes recommendations to CRMLS to enhance the system. So you do have that available to you too. If you have something that you think would, from a technology perspective, benefit everybody, if you make the request, we've had so many things from Citrus Valley be implemented as a result of what our members have communicated that would be an important piece. So we're always welcoming new ideas. And the younger groups that come in, the better the recommendations are, because they're the ones who are really good at technology, and it's always a great piece. So let me go back into the main system. So I'm just going to show you a little search here. We'll do one real quick. See, I have residential, but when I get inside a specific search, I have a way to narrow it down. I can do a quick search, or I can search for a specific ID. I can select an address to search by, or today's new listing. I can do a comparative market. I can do a lot of things right from one spot, but it's just by one category, which is residential. Then as I move down, I've got income, lease, land, manufactured, commercial, and cross property. And I can even search by open houses for a specific area, or caravans. Caravans are really a great thing, because caravans at the local level, and there are many of them around our area, caravans are great because it gives you an opportunity to network with individuals that might be interested in your property, but you can also see what people are doing. And that is a huge benefit. And that's why we do a lot of the networking opportunities that we do. And Tracy's going to talk about those a little bit later. But basically, the caravan allows you to go pitch your property. You can send it in. It can be virtual. Or sometimes they do live, which means they drive to each house in the old style that we used to do. And you go and you look at the property with a group of people. It's kind of fun, and it's a great networking opportunity. Yes, Bill?
Something else the caravans offer, and I know it's an important part. We just had one today in South of Money. Guest speakers. We've had the LA County Assessor out to the caravans. We've had Randall Lewis, who is Lewis Community. Some of you may know, one of the largest home builders in the nation. He comes out and does an economic forecast. We've had the CR Legal Counsel come out. So you never know what kind of a speaker is going to be there. They can be very high-end. Sometimes when you are not, don't even think you'll be interested in, could turn out to be the one that changes everything. A Cal HFA speaker talking on the new Cal HFA, you go back to your client and say, wow, I just heard this caravan today.
Yeah, you're right. It's great. It's great. And like I said, there are many of them. Yes.
And you could, like I was seeing the map, that's the whole area, like Hesperia, Victorville, we could go on.
No, that isn't. That map just pops up as an initial map. But that's one thing that you have to know too. We have people who do a data share, and they participate and try to, I would call it play nice, if you will.
Right.
But High Desert, Victorville, Big Bear, all of those, Arrowhead, they're not as friendly, frankly. And I'm just trying to be politically correct here, but frankly, they aren't wanting you in their area. But the funny thing about that, for instance, Victorville, that area, they have more listings in our database than they do in their own. I will tell you, they've recently begun talks, but they weren't even talking before to share their data. We just had Ventura Coastal pull out of the data share because something has happened. It used to be a RETS standard of data. Now it's called RISO. It's just a standard data set that allows us all to see the same thing when we look at data. And that has changed. We're going from the RETS compliant to a RISO compliance. And when that happened, Ventura Coastal claimed they could not afford to make that change because it was going to cost them X number of dollars. But I can tell you this, I think it was just an excuse. Because the amount of money they were quoting, I'm sure CRMLS, our database, would have happily handed them or helped them with, just to make sure we could still all be part of the same database. Okay? So those are the things that we run into here. We don't have clear lines, but one of the things that have happened, and I'm going to show you this right now so you can see, one of the things that has happened is an item called RPR, and I'm going to click on it real quick so you can take a look at it. This is a database with 160 million properties in it, and if you're a full board member with the Realtor designation, this is part of your member benefit, okay? And this has distressed, on-market, off-market, anything that you can think of pretty much is in this database. The only caveat is the MLSs have to have agreed to participate in this big melting pot. And currently, Ventura Coastal is in there. So as a member, I can still get their data even though they're not data sharing with CRMLS. Yes, so you do have a workaround, and not a lot of people even know about this database. It is something created by the National Association of Realtors. It is a very robust, comprehensive piece. It has many comparative market reports. One of them being, if you want to narrow down like what people in a specific area like to eat, or what restaurants they like to frequent, or what businesses are most prevalent in that area, you can do it with that tool. So if you have an investor that you're working with who says, boy, I'd like to start a new business, but I have no idea, and I'd like to stay in this area, you could actually do a search and figure out how many things are not being done in that area, and they could choose to do something that is not overdone and wouldn't be saturating the area. So those are the kind of reports I'm talking about. It really gives you the edge. It makes you look. Matter of fact, I have one of our committee chairs has had a client who was an international client, did not speak English. I believe he was Chinese, and he had an interpreter, and he had never done business with her. And she created a comparative market analysis from this database, and he was so impressed. He said it was the most comprehensive report he had ever seen, and he's since done 3 transactions with her. So that's pretty impressive because, you know, having a language barrier is a huge issue, especially when you're making an important decision like that. But to be able to present something in such a professional way that you can maintain a client who's an international client is a huge deal. And I will tell you this, that international clients are increasing in numbers all the time. So whether you want to make it one of your specialties or if you want to do something and remain local, there are the little niche pieces. Maybe you are Spanish speaking, maybe you are Chinese, maybe whatever it is, you can create that because you have a tool in this, not just this database, but in your home MLS, CRMLS, where you can choose how to, it's called a link generator, and it allows your own website to display in a certain language if you want to choose that. So that's just a tool that's a part of, so it's called the IDX link generator, and the IDX solution is how it's presented to the public and what they can see. So this has a lot of different pieces. You know, we could do many classes on this because there's so much stuff, so many member benefits, that it's almost impossible to communicate it in one little session like this. But what I'm hoping to do is pique your interest because we have something called a student membership. If you want to be part of it, you can. It's totally up to you. But you also can come and see us and come to a class. We have 3 CRMLS sessions a month. One of them is at our main office in Glendora, where they come and teach you about how to do searches, about how to do a comparative market analysis, about how to input a listing. Those are all separate classes. So you can spend a whole class just on inputting a listing. Yes?
As students.
You could come. I don't mind if you do. I'd be happy to. Just let me know if you're interested. I'd be more than happy to let you come. Okay? And the other thing is that these courses are always free benefits to our members. If outside people come in who are not members, normally there's a fee. But for you guys, if you want to come, I'm happy to let you come over. But we have it in Glendora. Okay, the first week of the month is always Glendora. The second week of the month is our Rancho office. We have 3 locations. We have Rancho Cucamonga on Rochester, and then we have South El Monte on Durfee Avenue off of the Peck exit, right next to the county assessor's office. So if you know that area, we're right there. We have a great facility. So if you want to go complain about your taxes to the county assessor, then come visit us. You can do that too, right? Okay.
Isn't the IRS around there too?
I think they are. I do. I try not to figure out where they are because then I have an excuse to not see them. So does anybody have any questions about what we talked about so far? I know there's a lot of information here and so much to cover.
Did you say the Ventura is only on this R?
You're only going to be able to see it on RPR right now, and they may end up declining that.
Okay.
So
and what
we don't
about
know.
the high desert?
High Desert too, if they've chosen to participate, they're probably sitting in here too, but a lot of this, they don't want to participate. Yes, sir.
Also, when you go into the RPR as a member benefit, there's residential and commercial. So when she's talking about for your investors, if someone wants to invest in a business
Right here, I'll
in the
click on
city
it.
of Glendora,
I'll click on it so you can see
when you
commercial.
click commercial,
30 million.
you could do a search of the area. It breaks it down into demographic populations, what type of business are in that area. We have enough of this type of business, but we don't have enough of this type of business. It
Right.
breaks it down in a chart for you.
It's really
So
a
you
great piece. Have you ever seen anything like that anywhere else? I've not.
No.
No.
I've used it before, and it does really help. Like someone wanted to invest in Fullerton in a business, and they wanted to invest in a Chinese restaurant. Well, in Fullerton, they break it down that there's enough Chinese restaurants, but
Exactly.
there's not enough
Right.
this type of business. So
Wow.
it breaks it down for you, and that's a good benefit to have.
But the big thing you need to know is this is a Realtor member benefit. You cannot be an MLS only participant and get this benefit. You have to belong to a full board office, and that's a business decision you'll have to make for yourself when you decide. But I will tell you this, the statistics show that there is 70% more business done by those with the designation of Realtor than regular licensees in the Bureau of Real Estate.
Also, if you want to pay for this without being a realtor, like the RPR or Cloud CMA, all of those are separate fees, and it costs more.
Right.
You might as well just join the realtor board, right?
Right.
Or find a broker that does.
You will be nickel and dime to death if you do
Also,
that.
also for the contracts like through zip forms, if you want to pay for that separately, that's like $800 just for that by itself.
Per year though, it's not a one-time fee. It's not one time.
So can you imagine just getting your MLS, which is about 400 plus 800, right? It costs less to just join a realtor board and get all these benefits for free
Right.
and talk to an attorney and stuff, right?
Yes, and that's another thing. We have a legal hotline, it's a benefit. We have a finance hotline. If you're having a problem with a lender and you just can't seem to resolve what you need to, CVAR will step in on your behalf and they will actually talk to the vendor on your behalf, like a loan company, and get the straight answer and interpret it for you. That's a huge benefit because the legal hotline will not do that. They will not talk to whomever you're having the problem with because it's legal. It'd be given third-party advice. They're not going to do that. But it is a member benefit to you Monday through Friday. They're there from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. to give you legal help. It's part of what you're paying for. And on Saturday, they're there from 10 until 2 for transactional issues only. And also, we have CRMLS, who is the vendor for your MLS. They are 7 days a week. You can get technical support if you need it with the MLS. So 10 to 3 on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, and they're there from, I think, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. during the week, which are really extended hours, okay? But you do have the help, you do have the backing, you do have the products, lots of member benefits. When you add a listing to the database, it goes out to about 140 different third-party vendors, including places like Zillow and Trulia, and all of those that do compete with you for your business, but the one thing they can't do is they can't provide the accurate data that you provide, nor that personal service that you're going to give a client. They cannot provide that. So people are always worried about the internet and places like that replacing the real estate agents, but I say it's not ever going to happen. Because there's something about that personal relationship that's developed between you and your client. And the better you are at what you do, and the more you know, the better and longer you'll be in business. So, let's see, we were talking about a little search. I wanted to show you RPR to let you know, but here's one thing that works off of RPR data and you don't even have to log into RPR. Once you develop a login at RPR, you can just come right here. If you want to do market reports, we've created a shortcut here just for our members. Nobody else has this, just Citrus Valley. But this works off of RPR data though, okay? So if I wanted to go in and create a market report, I'd simply type in an address or city or state, whatever it is, and then I'd go here to this drop-down menu and I've got all those reports I could generate right there based on that information. It takes less than 5 minutes to create, and it's like a 30-page report. I'm talking about a very comprehensive comparative market analysis here, whether it's residential or commercial. And the next thing I've got for you, if you're working out in the field, you've got a client you're working with and you can't stop to do anything, and you've got somebody who's interested in finding a home in LA or Riverside or San Bernardino County, this is right here. At the click of a button, you can hit this and you can use your mobile device, okay, if you want to. I've got the second quarter 2016 all the way back to fourth quarter of 2014 that I could provide somebody just by doing this. Here you have a comprehensive 13-page PDF file, and right here I've got the average sales price and what it's done over the last year per zip code. So all they have to do is look at the zip code they're interested in, or you highlight it and send it to them, okay? But this is pretty comprehensive, and it's only CVAR members that get this, by the way. Nobody else has this, but you can send them this nice little PDF presentation in about one minute. And who's going to look like the professional that you provided that to them? You can have it set up on your smartphone or your iPad or whatever you're using, okay? You can be truly mobile, right? Because all of these different pieces work in a mobile way. So zip forms, same deal. Zip forms. You want to use your mobile device? You've got zip forms mobile. Okay, so if you want to be out there working away and writing contracts and sending them out to somebody for digital signature, this is how comprehensive these systems are. They really make doing real estate, practicing real estate, buying and selling, they really make it simple on the technology end of it. The sales part's up to you, right? You got to develop what that's going to be. So anyway, this is what this looks like. And again, I have Los Angeles, San Bernardino, and Riverside County at the click of a button, and it will take you less than a minute to send somebody a comprehensive report. LA County is about 13 pages. Riverside is about 9 pages. San Bernardino, 7 pages. But it's pretty comprehensive any way you look at it. So, yes, sir?
Also, you in your client database, you could send monthly or quarterly reports through this one, right? To your clients to keep them updated, especially the investors, right? So keep in constant communication.
If you do that monthly, and I'm going to give you a couple other things that I've heard from people over the years that they do, just things that they remember. This is client-based. This isn't association-based, but things that I think are really great. Every year, they send clients a birthday card. I have one woman who actually goes and delivers a birthday cake to them. I think that's really ambitious. But this is just a way, though, these are some of the little things, though, and they send them monthly newsletters. And maybe they're not interested in selling right now, but who are they going to think of first? Because it takes at least 8 communications for anybody to remember one little thing about you. And we have so many agents who stop after 5 or 6, and they go, God, I've already communicated with them, but you know what? Do it 10 times, do it 20 times. What difference does it make if it's an automated function and you set it up? They're going to remember you because they're going to they're going to go, oh my God, not them again. But you know what? When they need you, they're going to go, oh, remember? Yeah. So just that extra touch and remembering to reach out to those people that you've had a connection with and keep reaching out to them. Develop a database. It's very important, a client database or even just a contact database, and do it on a regular basis. It's a huge game changer. Yes?
So you mentioned there you were offering the student membership.
Mm-hmm.
Does the student membership also include the plethora package here?
No. Because you have to be a licensee and under a broker in order to gain access to the MLS. You can't do any of that without that. Yeah, you have to.
What can they do as student members?
You can come to classes and learn about it. You can learn about what it does. You can come to networking functions, which is huge. I got to tell you, those people that are involved in the networking piece of it and get to know people in the industry, you may find a mentor, first of all. It may not be somebody that's even in your own office. But if you could develop a relationship or a connection with somebody who really knows what they're doing, I'm going to tell you, one of the young men who is the chair of our Young Professionals Network right now, we have a Young Professionals Network, and it's not about age, by the way. It's about years in business. And I will tell you, though, a lot of them are very young, but they're very energetic. Anyway, we had what was called our summer kickoff. Usually 200 to 300 people attend this. We have vendors, we have food. It's a lot of fun, okay? But it's a way to connect. I introduced this young man to another long-term real estate agent that we've had, and he has since switched and gone to that office and they become good friends, and his business has increased tremendously since making that connection. So sometimes what it does is it connects you with the right people to find the direction that you need to go in, just by the connections that you make, and the things that you hear, and the things that you see. And that's what we hope to bring to you, is the connection that matters, right? Yes?
2 comments. Does that sound familiar, what she's saying about networking and connections? Haven't I said this before? So I wasn't BSing you guys, I was actually telling the truth.
I think he was BSing you, but it's okay. No.
And then 2, a lot of the economic data that you see, once you get licensed, you're gonna get tons of emails, spam, and even mailers about $9.99 a month. Pay for this economic data package, and we'll help you send this to clients and blah blah blah. Don't fall for those. Everything is free when you're a realtor.
Use the free stuff first. Then if you become too big for it, okay,
But you have to be
go
a member
on.
of the association, so you're a realtor because of that tripartite agreement.
Yes, that's
with
right.
The local, CVAR, and.
Right,
NAR.
and it's part of your benefit. So all of these tools that your instructor is telling you about, they exist already as a benefit of joining. And I always tell you, learn them real well before you decide to move on to something else, because something else may not have a piece that really is the right piece for you. We have something right now, it's exclusive to our members. It's called MLS Touch. It's a full tool that you can do a search of our database, okay? You can see if there's 35 photos, you can see all 35 photos. If you want to draw a circle and search a specific area on a map with your finger, you can do that. And it'll tell you all the listings that are in that area. I mean, really comprehensive pieces for such a small idea. And it's really a wonderful piece that we bring to you as a member benefit. The other thing is called Showing Time. Showing Time is where you can make an appointment right on your mobile device from a listing in the database. So all those listings are part of Showing Time. They've gotten an agreement with the MLS to display their listings, and you can schedule an appointment with an agent. You don't ever have to call them. You're going to use that tool because now it's part of the MLS in a mobile way and part of this database as well. So you can go in CRMLS and schedule something with Showing Time, or you can do it from your mobile device. But not everybody has the mobile capability. That's a member benefit that we've provided to you to do it mobily. Yes?
How long has this been around now?
What?
This new system?
Well, CRMLS has been around. Matter of fact, I started out at CRMLS many years ago in the late 90s, and I was a trainer for CRMLS when they were Superlative and MRMLS, and they now are CRMLS, and their system is a .NET platform now. It's totally different. And they've changed it. They were running 2 parallel systems, and now they've gone to just one. And this is it. So they've enhanced and enhanced. They just rolled out an enhancement of many things. Some good, some not so good, because there are a few glitches there. But changes. So you'll see a new version. So this is the new version right now that you're seeing. But as far as offering a lot of complementary pieces to go along with your business, they've been doing that for a long time and continually enhancing things and getting rid of things. So Cloud CMA is one of them. We used to have, was it Wildfire?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, yeah, and then Wildfire went away, and it's now, they've gotten rid of that, and now they've got their own CMA that's called Cloud CMA. And then they've got another CMA product in there. But the point is you have a lot of things to choose
I
from.
remember this in
No,
2003.
Yeah, no.
2006.
Oh, this is the thing that you saw then is totally different now. You know, a lot of years have gone by since then, so the whole dynamic has changed. And you know, in a couple more years, what real estate looks like today is going to be totally different.
Right.
It's going to be totally different.
It's going
than what
to
you
grow
see.
out in the virtual tour.
I think you're going to see, because we're seeing more and more virtual offices, you will see that, but you're still going to need that individual to make it all happen, where
Right.
people are, yeah, they don't even go into an office anymore. They work from home, and it's, yeah, that's what we're seeing.
They're
Definitely.
going to want to see, touch, and feel that house because nobody's buying a home virtually.
Yeah, exactly. Very few people do that, unless it's a higher end home. We do see that. The higher end homes tend to sell virtually more than, you know, what I would call a mid-priced or like under $1 million. Yeah. So anyway, does anybody have any other questions? Because I'm taking up a lot of time, and I'll have Bill come up and talk about, because really you think MLS is the most important thing we deliver? It is not. Legislative advocacy is. It is the most important thing. I'm going to go back to our main website.
Barbara,
so you can
before
see.
you move, can you show them an actual search?
Oh, yes, sorry, I forgot
Show
about
them
that
an
part.
actual search if you can.
I
to
will.
see-
Let me go back in here. So yesterday I did one too. I'm going to do it based on my area. So you all have to. So you have got a lot of selections here as far as status goes. Basically, if I were doing a comparative market analysis, I would do active, probably active under contract, pending, and closed sales. That's what I choose if I were going to do a comparative market analysis. Now, based on what your objective is, you would say to yourself, how many days out do I want to go? So what's going to be, typically we see 180 days back for a closed listing, but I don't like to use that because I think our market changes too quickly here. I like to go about 90 days, that's my max, but you might have a different take on that. That's just me. So I'm just going to talk about actives, and now I have under property type, you see all these fields that we have here? This is quite a buffet of fields that you can choose from. But let me tell you, when you're doing a search, less is more, and I'll tell you why. If you narrow it down by so many things, you may not get the result, okay? You may not get, because some agents, so this is the deal, a listing is only as good as the agent who puts it in. So if they've neglected to add some information because it wasn't a required field, and there's a lot of lazy agents out there, I'm telling you right now, I talk to them every single day, and they decide that I don't want to do that, you know what, I don't have to, it's not required. But you know what, you always have to think, what's in your client's best interest? To give as much detail as you can, and the chances of their house being seen is going to be increased by the amount of information you provide. And I want to preface that by saying the amount of accurate information you provide, because you are bound by the rules and regulations that say you must provide accurate information, okay? It is a requirement, and it's your responsibility. So then, we look at all these fields. So I'm just going to narrow it down. I want to look at active, single family. So maybe your client says, I don't care if it's a house or a townhouse or a manufactured house. I don't care. So then you can just hold down your control key and select the number of property subtypes that you want to. Okay? That's up to you. I'm just going to do single family residences. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in an area that I live in, okay? And my area number happens to be 604, but you can narrow it down, which is Altadena. You can narrow it down by a city, a zip code, multiple zip codes, whatever you want to do, okay? You will develop the technique that works for you the best. So you'll notice down here, I'm getting 51 matches, right? Okay, 51. It's giving me that result. So I chose active single family residences, and I chose the area of Altadena. So let me just tell you this is giving me everything that's showing active in that area right now. If I wanted to narrow it down more, I could put bedrooms, bathrooms. I could say, I don't want anything that's been on the market any longer than 30 days, because chances are I've already seen everything else, so I don't want to repeat history, right? So those are all things that you can use. And if you have a price point that you need to remain within. So maybe I want to say that I don't want to go any more than 750, but I might want to fix her upper. So let me say 500 to 750,000, okay? So now that's my range. So I narrowed it down to 11 listings. I can see before I even get a result what I'm going to be looking at. And once I get a result, I have it set to look at a one line. Okay, one line. And in that one line, I might see the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the days on the market, all of that stuff. And it will allow me to put a check mark in the box and eliminate that listing in my final result if I want to do it that way. So let's look at the result now that we have it. Okay, here's my result. I've got a one-line result. Here's what it looks like. It's pretty long. Okay, and I have all of these little things that I can take a look at here. I can add to my watch list. I can look at the assessor's map. I can drop or view a map right here, or I can view all the photos associated with this right from here. I don't have to bring up the full listing. However, if I want to change the view from a one-line agent, I have all these ways to look at them. So don't ever send out a listing to a client that is not a client version. Because if you send out an agent version to a client, you're sending confidential information that belongs to agents only. Be very careful about that, okay? All right. So, not that you can't do it, there are many ways. You can take a screenshot, you can copy and paste, you can do all of those things. But you have to think about, should I do it? Not can I do it, but should I do it, okay? All right. So, I'm looking at a one line right now. If I want to, now this is DOM, CDOM. What's the difference? Okay, one is days on market. That means somebody put the listing in the last time it was entered. How many days is it showing on the market? 16. You'll notice some of them match and some of them don't, right? For instance, you've got 87 and 307. What does that mean? Well, it simply means that another agent had it on contract, okay, before this agent. And the only way to eliminate CDOM, which is cumulative days on the market, is to have it off the market for 90 days and not be in any database. Get that? It's be off market for 90 days to eliminate CDOM. Okay? All right. So, you'll notice here we've got the same scenario, here we've got the same here, and that's it. So we have a few. That's how you'll be able to tell whether somebody else has had this under contract less than 90 days ago. Okay? All right. So, once we take a look at this, if we want to look at a different view, again, you can select from this drop-down menu. You can view as many on here as you want to, up to 100. Also, I have the option of looking at the full listing right here or looking at a map by clicking on those links right there. I can also sort these in different ways. If I want it to appear in a different order, you can choose to do that based on what you like to view. Okay, that's up to you. I don't like to mess with any of that stuff. I just learn to live with it like it is. But anyway, I'll let you see what it looks like. Also, I can look at these listing numbers because I know and tell what association that agent belongs to just by looking at the multiple listing number right here. This is a Citrus Valley listing. This is a Tri-Counties. This is Arcadia. This is Orange County. So I can see all of that. Downey, I can see all of that just by looking at the first two letters or subcategories, if there is one there. There are sometimes. So let's take a look at this. We'll just click on one, for instance, and you can see. So it pops up with all this information. There's a lot of confidential stuff in here. See all of this? Private remarks. That does not go out to the general public. It doesn't go out if you do a third-party site. Okay, it won't be seen in Zillow. It won't be seen in Trulia. It won't be seen in any of those. Those are private remarks. So they're telling you something that's a little bit different than what's published above. That's why that information is there, okay? Because if we look up here, we're probably going to see something a little bit different. You see that? 1846. That's what was auto-populated by the tax assessor data. But when I scroll down here, the agent is telling me that there's 444 square foot unpermitted, which brings the total to 2290. That's just the agent information. They're providing that to you. So what do you need to do? You need to tell your client to do their due diligence and do the research. You can provide the information, but you should not interpret it. Remember that. Provide it, but do not interpret it. Send them to the right places to get interpretation. That is your job, to find the right path. But if you're not an accountant or a tax professional, if you're not a lawyer, then you don't want to be giving legal advice or tax advice. You need to tell them, you know, I recommend that you seek professional help from one of these individuals, okay? Be careful about referring anybody to anybody either, okay? You can tell them who or what professional, but you don't want to tell them this is what you must do, okay? All right, so this is what this looks like. If the listing you think is in violation or done something wrong, you can click. That's a link. It reports it to MLS, and they'll do the research. Yes?
But if they ask you specifically for a recommendation, can you
I would really steer away from that because there have been so many lawsuits lately, specifically in California.
Yes.
Because somebody recommended a tax accountant and they got in trouble, or somebody recommended a lawyer and it didn't turn out well. You can say, you know what, I recommend you visit the state licensing bureau for that specific, whether it's, you know, they have, you know, when it comes to people who do work on homes too, whether it's a contractor, a plumber, whatever it is, I would recommend they go to Angie's List or places like that, because when you start recommending people, you're then responsible as a professional for communicating that information. Be very careful about it. You can give them a list and say, here are several people. I don't know what the quality of their work is, but I've heard from others. Here's a list, but I can't vouch for them myself. You have to make that declaration. Otherwise, you know, you're putting yourself in jeopardy. That's not your level, that's not your area of expertise. Okay? So you need to be very careful.
Even if it is, you're not acting in that
You're not
capacity.
acting in that capacity at the moment. Even if you are a lawyer or a CPA, if you're acting as their real estate professional, you shouldn't be giving any tax advice or legal advice because you're not acting in that
Like there was a
capacity
realtor
at the
in
moment.
California who lost her license because of that.
Yeah, there is. She was a CPA and she gave advice and it went bad.
It
And
went
she
bad.
did recently,
She
so
lost
yeah.
both her CPA and her real estate license.
Right.
So
So-
how long did it take to get that back?
You know what? Probably hasn't gotten it back.
Probably never.
Yeah.
So
So one of the things I want to draw to your attention here where you can click, these are live links inside this database. So for instance, if I wanted to see what happened in that 307 days, I could click on that link and it would tell me what was modified. You can see that as an agent. You can see who modified it and what happened. What was the history of events, basically, okay? So the other thing you can do, you can look at the tax data right from here. Just by clicking at the link, it goes into realist tax data. No matter if it's Orange County, San Bernardino, it doesn't matter. It will grab that data, okay? And then from here, you can look at if it was ever on the market before, it will show what the history and last sales information was, okay? And then from there, as we scroll down here, we have some additional links, and this is hugely important, hugely important. If you're working with somebody or potentially working with somebody, do you see this says LA state license? I can go right into the database and see this person's license and what their status is. It shows their license, the expiration date. By the way, this is public knowledge. I'm not showing you anything that's confidential here. But the point is that you are responsible as an agent working with another agent to verify their ability to work in the industry. It is a requirement from the Bureau of Real Estate. Okay? So make sure that you use these links because they will help you and they'll make it simple. Okay? This will tell you more about the agent by clicking on the link. It's going to show me where he's a member. He's a member active at the Arcadia Association. You can see it right here by clicking on these links. You can look at the office, the listing office. It'll show you what the office is, where it's located. If they're active, it'll show all of that information. Okay? And you can email the agent directly by clicking on that link. You can email the agent. Okay? Yes?
Can you just do one more thing aside from that?
Absolutely.
The RPR,
Yeah.
we have until 1 o'clock anyway. So
Okay.
The RPR, can you demonstrate a report from like the residential side? Like those of you who are interested in demographics, based on a particular address and a zip code, you can get demographic data, school information, along with economics information.
So what kind of a report do you want me to
So
do?
maybe
From here.
just type in my old address, 17214.
Oh, I see what he's doing. No, just kidding.
Type in my old address, 17214 Horst Avenue. Horst, H-O-R-S-T, sorry.
F-O-R.
H-O-R-S-T.
H-O-R-S-T.
Sorry, I thought you said forest.
Cerritos right there. Just,
Oh, it's coming up already.
okay.
All right, so we're gonna do, let's see.
Just click search for a minute. Yeah.
Oh, you wanted to see the full thing first, okay. Because I was gonna do a little market report, but it's okay.
So
now.
you can see a snapshot, right? And then if your client is interested in this particular property in Cerritos, this is my old neighborhood. I grew up in this house, that's why. But create report, and don't come to my house. I don't live there anymore. Okay?
So you have you can choose what kind you want. What kind
So
you
right
want.
here, if your client just wants a summary, like an executive summary, you can click on mini property report.
Which one do you want?
Just mini property report.
Okay.
And then the details it gives you right here. You can oh, can you do that? See, it says the home facts, right? Property values, listing, estimated value, comp, home facts, home improvement, all of this stuff. Neighborhood housing stats and charts,
That's
especially
okay.
for families. So if you leave all this check mark and you click create report, which is, yeah, you could create display for yourself, and then it's gonna pop up, it's gonna be ready.
It'll tell us when it's ready. It might take a little bit.
Okay.
So also, you can create your own profile. I just have Citrus Valley in here because I use this to create association information, because I can do that in here. But normally your profile could have a picture of you or your company logo, and it could have your information there. And it will automatically email you a copy of the report as well.
Yes.
You can set it to do that.
Or you can have it sent directly to your client. So once the report is up, the mini report, it's about, depending on the area, it could be up to like 10 pages. And it gives you all the statistics in a summary value. And most investors, they don't want to read the whole 33 pages of a proper report, right? That's very extensive. They'll probably want the executive summary. So you want to click on mini property report. So it minimizes everything and puts all the data together, right?
Oh, here we go.
And then when you
Ding dong.
download the
Did you hear
report,
that? Did you hear the ding dong? Yeah, it tells you it's like a house bell. I love that.
Ava's calling.
Yeah.
now you see this report as it's downloading. You could look at the charts, right? And then as you go up, right? It says here presented by.
Oh, sorry.
It says here Citrus Valley Association of Realtors, right? So it'll say here, Brittany, right? And then your company name with your license and maybe the logo and contact.
Right.
And then as you go down, you see a map of the area, current estimated value. I should have kept this house. As you go down, you'll see home facts, right?
Or bedrooms, two baths.
The owner names, and you'll get the owner names and everything. So you can
Yeah,
verify
the pool.
owner's
There's a
address
pool there,
properly.
huh? Nice.
Yeah.
And
But I
then,
like
Unless you
this.
came at the swimming pool.
please keep scrolling down, and
The
then
pool parties at Professor K's house.
you'll see tax information, and then can you go down to the demographics and start
Sure.
stats?
Yeah.
Right here, housing stats.
There
You see the median, it has a comparison chart from 90703, which is the zip code of Cerritos, right? Compared to Los Angeles County, right? So Cerritos and zip code 90703 is 710,000 pricing point. Los Angeles County is 543. It gives you that comparison, right? And then comparison to California and USA. And then as Barbara scrolls down, you'll see the charts, right? Median prices, you'll see median listing price versus listing.
Wow,
And,
they're pretty even killed.
yeah. And as you scroll down the report, she'll show you the demographic data,
It's
right?
not giving me any demographic in this one.
Oh, it's not?
Nope,
Oh.
not on this one.
Well, if you click the demographic data report, you could do that.
Let's try this. Let's see here. We might need a.
Or just go to if you go
might
down.
need a full property report.
Well,
to
actually,
get that.
go down one more time,
Okay.
and then see the neighborhood market.
More details.
Neighborhood market.
No,
Uh-huh.
that's
Oh, here, this one?
Right here.
And
I'm
And
looking. Oh,
when you click here, neighborhood market,
more details.
Go report.
as you go down to neighborhood market, right?
Hold on
Yeah.
a second here. I'm just looking to see why it didn't include it initially.
And
Why do you
then,
think it didn't? Sorry.
all right, and then run report for the neighborhood, and then you can get the neighborhood statistics. You're supposed to get a neighborhood statistics on it.
I thought they would already be part of it.
But yeah,
Too many reports.
yeah, you can see the reports, and then I guess run report again.
I did that.
Okay. All right. You see the neighborhood report. It should
Generated.
show
It
you
tells
all.
me the status up here. If I look, it'll tell me it's being generated. Let's see. Okay.
Once it turns blue, that means the report's ready.
Oh.
All right. Alexander, this is important for you because you're taking the test in January, correct? All right. How many of you are taking the test in January?
I'm
That's
overdue.
important for
Yeah,
you.
I'm over. I should have taken it already. But I have to get that one other elective out of the
The
way.
rest of you are coming to my class next semester, right? Yeah. I see a lot of thumbs up, but I'll believe it when I see you guys. I really will.
On the fee, do we pay every month? Do we pay quarterly? How do you pay?
Well, the initial fee, NAR and CAR want their money up front. So every January, you're gonna see it. We do charge the MLS fees quarterly. So with your initial join, you pay NAR, CAR, local association in the first quarter MLS, or whatever quarter you join in. You'll pay that quarter's MLS fees.
A quarter, okay.
Mhm.
So Alexander, this is important to you. If you want to know, dealing with families, they want to know the neighborhood, right?
Right.
Gives you the map, and then as you go down, it's presented by Alexandra, and you'll see the neighborhood housing stats and charts, right?
Mhm.
And then you'll see, most important is probably the demographics and school districts, right? Population by degree. In Cerritos, apparently we have postgraduate, 18%,
That's pretty big, huh?
right? And then we have population by children, so what's the children in the area, if you're looking for
Middle
good
school
schools,
right now, huh?
right? We have population by adults by age group. So I'm one of the 21 to 24 group. I'm part of the 2,478 people.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Wait.
Right? And then we have households with children. It gives you married with children, married without
Wow,
children, single.
huge. 60
It breaks it down
Wow.
for you, right?
And you want to know that information because
No, did you see married without children?
And it even gives you political presidential
Married
voting
without
patterns.
children,
Those are the smart ones.
6,300.
you may have a client who doesn't want to be in a neighborhood with a lot of children.
We
Or
see
you
that
may
a
have a
lot.
young family.
And they
that
don't
said
want to
it's
buy in a senior community either. They just
Right.
want to be in an area where they're not
And you
high.
may have a client who says, I really want to be in a neighborhood with lots of children because I have children. I want to
Myself.
know if they're going to be going to
Yeah.
a school.
Can you go down here to presidential? This is pretty interesting. It gives you the economic data above that, like what's the household income and spending, how much they could
And
spend,
then they vote to
right?
Democrat.
And then presidential voting pattern. Republicans is 27.4%. Vote Democrats are 69, or yeah, about 70% if you look at the chart. So it figures what's the voting pattern in the neighborhood, what's the housing statistics, like how much income do these people have, right? Right? So then you know that what's available in the housing, and it breaks down everything. And it goes through the U.S. Census Bureau too for these kind of facts. So NAR and Citrus Valley Association Realtors really put all the data together to give you these type of demographic data that may be important to your investors that want to invest in Cerritos. Or families that want to go, what's a good school district, right? If you know Cerritos, the best high school in Cerritos is Whitney High School. You have to get tested in. Right?
That's
You
the
can't
public
tell them,
schools?
but you can't tell them that.
You can't tell them that, but they'll know from the city websites and
They can do their own research.
They have to, you can hand them this and they can interpret it, but the problem is when you start steering people, it's called steering and it's against HUD, the Housing and Urban Development's allowable language. You have to be very careful about that. You know,
and we'll
you
go
got-
over steering in the future class. That's
You
a
ask questions you really can't answer.
There may be, and you can say, you know what, here's where I recommend you go to research that. And you can be truthful and say, I cannot deliver that information to you specifically, but I can tell you where to go to research it.
Okay, because like, I don't wanna seem like I just don't know. and
It's
I
not
can't
that you
help
don't
us.
know, it's just not within your ability to provide the information they want. You need to be truthful about that. You know? If you're truthful, people don't mind.
Things like,
They find.
realtors have been sued over simple things like saying, oh, well, it's near St. Anthony's Church. Well, why is that important? Well, they
But the
assume-
MLS too doesn't allow certain things. You
Right.
can't put certain language in there. Everything has to be in the English language. And you can't steer anybody towards certain, I mean, we still get stuff like, people will put in there, in the property description, oh, it's a nice white neighborhood. I mean, you can't do that, I know. You know, stuff that you would think is just common sense these days, people are still doing it,
I've seen
yes.
things that say near Asian markets.
Yeah,
And in
you can't
grocery
put that
stores.
in.
You can't put that
You
in.
can't, you can't say the church is right down the street. You know what? House of worship in the area. You can put things like that, but you can't specifically say anything that drives somebody toward a Christian church or a mosque or anything. You cannot put that in there. You have to be real careful about what goes in. But anyway, this information is great because you can deliver it to them, but you really don't want to interpret it too much. You can take a look at this and say, hey, there's a pretty good number of people that are making more than $150,000 a year. I can look at that and see that. So, you know, chances are, you know, it might be a little higher end neighborhood parts of it. So anyway, let them interpret it. It's a great report. There are others that are more comprehensive than this. The full property report is about a 40-page report. It's really long. And it gives them everything about, I'm telling you about where people dine, about what they like to do, if they like to go to the theater versus the movies, you know?
Another site they can go to is citydata.com, which gives a lot of that.
Yes.
And some of it's used in here.
Yes, it is. That's right. That's true. So anyway, there's a lot to learn. A lot to learn, and there's a lot that we deliver to you for what I consider under $1,000 a year to deliver the access to homes, the listing information, and a way to do business. It's a great system, really
But
it
you're
is.
saying $1,000, but isn't there other fees?
No, that's about it, because you have super keys, they run about $250 a year, and it's around $830 some a year for, so you're right around 1,000, maybe a little more than that. And but for that price range, you know, you can have your business going. And plus, you know, most brokers provide education, especially if it's a franchise. You have to decide whether you want to do more boutique-y kind of business, or if you want to go into a bigger franchise like Remax or Century 21, or some of those bigger, Keller Williams is huge, it's probably the largest in the country, I would say. So those are all huge businesses, and they usually deliver, I would say, exceptional education, and they have a lot of mandatory education, but you decide what works best for you, yeah. And I always tell people, I know you have an entry plan, you want to work with a broker, but make sure you have an exit plan too, because the broker owns everything. If you have listings that you have and you decide, I don't like it here anymore and I want to leave, you don't get to just take your listings with you. That's something you need to discuss and do before you even get into an office. Decide not how you're just going to get in there, but how are you going to leave. Because sometimes you grow in different ways and you're beyond that now and you need something more and you're looking for something else. So remember that piece of it too. So, good advice. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now, we looked at our little listing results, but again, you determine what works for you and how you want this to look. You can customize things in here. That's another thing that's really great about this platform, is it allows customizable information. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Bill Rue, because he's going to talk to you about legislative advocacy, because it is what we do. It's probably one of the most important things that we do.
Let's give Barbara a hand. Do you have your business cards?
Oh, you know,
And I didn't
I'm
bring
terrible.
mine
I'm
today.
terrible. I'm going to bring them back to you. How about that? I'm going to bring you some.
Well,
So
you guys
don't
can get
have
the business cards at the association visit.
I have
next
tons of them there. I have tons of them there.
When's it?
Next Wednesday.